Good morning. I'm Rosemary DeTrolio, and you're listening to The Lightwalker's Path. It's a place to develop new insights, find your soul's purpose, hear enlightening conversation, and be inspired. Good morning. I'm Rosemary DeTrolio, and you're listening to The Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. And this is a place where we're streaming on multiple platforms. Join me every 10 o'clock to Tuesday Eastern Time to hear interesting interviews, speakers, and also for me to help share my information with you. You can find replays on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many streaming platforms. Today, I'll be presenting about changes, shifting, and transformation. And 2025 is all about change, pivoting, transformation, and moving into this new time and this new era of change. You may notice there's a lot of interesting and strange information, energies, and feelings that are starting to come in 2025. And this is all part of the major great plan that was always meant to be. I remember as a kid listening to the song The Age of Aquarius, where the planets align, and there's actually a line in the story that says, when the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, and the song starts like that. And that song always resonated with me because it's ushering in an age of transformation and change, which we are stepping into in 2025. So, part of the information of this era is to be ready for change. And in my business, one of the things that I set myself to do is to help other people find their way, safely connecting with the divine realm, opening dormant gifts, and guiding people through my workshops, my books, Reiki, and one-to-one transformational talk sessions. If you're ready for changes, and most people will fight it tooth and nail, right? But when you surrender to change, it makes life a lot easier. So one of the things that I want to guide you to do is to take a little bit of time for self-care. This might be going for a massage. It might be walking in the woods. It may be a few minutes meditating or doing something to get your mindset into the frame of I'm allowing change, I'm open and accepting of the lessons that come my way. It's really just realigning your mind with the possibility that as things come in, they will not throw you or push you off your path. One of the other things that I do teach my healers and I do myself is called grounding. And grounding is where you're visualizing your body as a tree. And I'm going to walk you through this little grounding exercise before I start today, just to get you centered. So if you're at work, you could just listen in and try this later. If you're home and you have a few moments, you can try this with me, okay? So the first thing you do is just sit comfortably with your feet flat to the ground, and you take a deep breath in, and then release it. The next breath, we're going to hold it in for a count of 7 if you can. Ready? Take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do one more breath in. Let it out. When you're doing this, this is called grounding. You could also visualize the bottom of your feet growing giant, heavy roots that root you to the earth. And as you do this, your body begins to feel a little more centered and less spacey and chattery in your mind. So this time I want you to visualize those roots. Breathe in. Let it go. You can check in with the energy of your own body today by what feels tense or stuck or uncomfortable. Oftentimes we hold our stress in different areas of the body. It's very common for people to hold anger in the joints of the body. So those people that get like autoimmune and joint pain often have a lot of repressed anger that they don't even know is there. That's where it's important to kind of look inside as these situations come up and see what energy you're resonating with. All right. The next thing that you can do is change your mindset, because what you begin to see outside of yourself is a mirror for your inner landscape. So outside of yourself, if you are really focused on a lot of the discord that's going on right now, look at your inner landscape. Many times it's how you are feeling inside that mirrors the outside energy. And the same token is if you're peaceful inside and you look out, you're going to begin to have a different perception than another person would have. And this is helpful in a few ways. It doesn't mean that you're not understanding what's really there, but it means that your perception has the ability to transform and change the energies in your circle. So, what I would encourage you to do is look at how you're perceiving energy internally and also what you're perceiving outside of yourself. That's also called, there's a special law for that, but it's just a mirror. I look at the earth as a mirror for our own inner landscape. There is another sacred law that's called the law of substitution, where two thoughts can't exist in the same field. So, for instance, if you are feeling uplifted and cheerful and loving, your energy doesn't exist in the same frame as I am afraid, I'm less than, I am insecure. Those two energies are so totally different, and our mindset can hold one of them at a time. And the one you focus more time feeling is the one that is more powerful and can take over for those lower energies. So, in order to feel this way, one of the things that you can do is to continue to grow that feeling of I am purposeful, I have meaning, my life is important, I am sending love energy to other people, and I'm creating a ripple effect in the universe. And the more you're able to feel and live in that moment, the less those fear thoughts and those feelings of lack thoughts will take over. And I always say that, you got a certain amount of real estate up here, and you don't want it crammed up with junk. And junky thoughts would be, I'm not good enough, I'm less than, no one likes me, no one loves me, I'm so sad. Those thoughts are junk thoughts. And, take out the garbage and put in light instead. And the more you're able to focus on the feeling of being uplifted, the more you're able to uplift other people, and the more your sacred circle of friends and people and energy will begin to shift for you. Okay. Some of the other things that I love to do is put on music, and you could put on music of any style or type that really gets you going. When I'm cleaning house, it's rock music. When I am sitting and writing, it's wordless meditation music. When I am wanting to motivate myself, it might be, classic 1980s rock or 1990s music, because that kind of gets me going. When I'm in a very pensive mood, it would be blues music. You have to find the music that resonates with you. We all have what's called a soul note. So if you get like those chilies down your arm when you're listening to a certain theme, vibration, or sound, that is hitting your soul note that you came in with that resonates with you. Like we all have soul notes, we all have vibrational colors in us. And a vibrational color is not your skin tone. It is your aura vibration. And there are certain cameras that were developed in the 1960s through Kirlian photography from Russia. And in this bioenergy camera, we were able to see the energy field of a human. Okay, and the energy field colors change. We all have like a classic one that is ours, and then it changes based on mood, location, and what you're talking about or what you're doing. I've had my aura photographed when I'm doing a talk in public, and my auric field is a different color. In fact, it showed up as golden on the top and green and blue, which is communication energy, and the little hat was like the wisdom hat over my head. If you ever want to see pictures of them, I could email you if you send me a thing, or you can check my website. When I'm in a meditative moment and I'm doing a meditation, my energy field is usually purple or blue, which is spirit and communication energy. So we all have different colors. What these colors mean are also colors that can resonate with you. And winter is such a dull and dark color. It's a lot of white, and it's a lot of plainness, and the beautiful trees don't have their leaves anymore. And if you're in New Jersey, it's been like Arctic cold over here. So what you can do is bring more color into your environment. And in February, my sister Sandy is a fantastic designer. She'll be on my show. We're going to talk about bringing love into your home space, and I'm going to talk about bringing love and the energy of that into your workspace. So if you want more color in your life, you can also choose to wear colors that resonate with you. Like for me, I love wearing brighter colors, especially in dark weather or cold weather. So I might choose to wear like a bright blue or a pink or a red. I'm usually more blues and purples and browns than I am a pink, but occasionally I'll want to wear raspberry, a bright pink color that's not that bubblegum shade that Barbie wears, but kind of like a love energy color. So you have to find colors that resonate with you and sound that resonates with you. So different tones of sound, excuse me, different music that resonates with you. These things will all help to uplift you and allow you the ability to want to shift and to be open to change. Okay. Other things are focusing on situations and learning that comes up for you. So let's say you're always faced with the same type of personality, all right, that really grates you. Or the same situation, like every time you go to the store, someone cuts you off in the parking lot. Or, you go to the store and you try to return something and you can't, and the lady gives you a hard time at the desk. These are opportunities to spread some light to other people that may be having a bad day. It could also mirror your inner landscape of how you're feeling or what you're expecting from other people. When I go into the world, one of the things I love to do is expect a fantastic day. I expect that people are going to be friendly and happy. I expect that people are going to do the right thing. Am I disappointed sometimes? Absolutely, because I have no control over someone's emotion. But I do have control over the energy I put out when I enter that store or when I see that clerk that's in a vile mood. I have the choice of either saying, "Hey, how you doing today?" and smiling, or I have the choice of sending daggers back to that person. And you can guess that I'm not the one that's going to send daggers. I'm going to send that feeling of, "I hope you're okay. How can I help you?" So when you go into the world with that kind of energy, the energy field that you carry around has more impact to change people around you. It's more uplifting. It has a kinder energy. It has more compassion to it. And as I spoke in one of the last broadcasts I did, is that the thing that's the same with all world religions, or I would say all of the ones that are aligned with light, let's put it that way. We have the feeling and the thread of caring for each other and compassion. And I think if you draw on those universal truths of compassion and kindness, it would be a much better world. Okay? Right now, there's some divisive energy. And this is something that you will notice more and more as people step into fear. So when people step into a fear state, they become very self-protective. They become more apt to hoard things. They become more fearful of strangers, situations, people. If you find yourself walking in fear, step back from it and instead get yourself grounded. Get yourself into that mind space of, "I am fine, the world is as it should be, everything is for our benefit," and put that energy into your body before you go into the world. Because if you go into the world with a fear state, you will manifest more fear. You will feel very uncomfortable and very unsafe. Okay? That doesn't mean that you're not going to lock your doors. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be careful when you're in a dark place and you're out in public. It doesn't mean that you're turning your back on the truth. It means that you are in a space and you are manifesting energy that is more positive and loving around you, which becomes your safety net in a way. You're not going to draw in negativity because you yourself are not sending it or asking for this energy. Remember, like attracts like, energy attracts energy. So the more powerful and positive you can become, the less you will be affected by other people's negativity. Okay, and that's really a sacred law, and it's something I've practiced and I know it's true. Excuse me. I had to wet my whistle. Okay. Okay. The other thing is that we all go through change. And some of the things that are happening now, because the planets are aligned and, people talk about the energy of these planets and all the things that are happening, is that your body will sometimes express the emotions and the feelings that are from the matrix, of the planets, the Earth that we live in. So if you experience some of these things, it could be a physical symptom, or it could be from the changes of the planets, the changes of how you feel. So often when weather changes, many people will get headaches or joint issues, especially before snowstorms and when the barometric pressure drops. I know myself because I've had an injury on my knee. Every once in a while, like before a snowstorm, my knee will hurt. That's because it's reacting to the barometric pressure on the earth that pushes down. Sometimes you might get headaches, extremely tired for no reason when you're not really sick. Some people get jazzed up and like almost spinning like a top, a lot of energy. They don't know what to do with it. And the last one before we go to break is being emotionally vulnerable and feeling like you're going to cry at any moment. All right, we're coming up on a sponsor break. I'm going to go over more of these as soon as we get back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with me. This is Rosemary, and this is the Lightwalker's Path. Okay, so before break, I was talking about changes and how your body might manifest the feeling of change. And, when the planets align and with all this energy coming in right now that's shifting us into a higher vibration, it's very common to feel off kilter, spacey. And if you're in fear mode, you're going to run back into what you know, afraid to make changes, afraid to have a new viewpoint. And we don't want to be walking around in fear mode and in stuck mode. So what you want to do is really be open to changes as they come across your pathway. Sometimes I was saying it's common to feel that your body is going to manifest some of these energies that you're not processing well. For instance, you might be very tired. You might have weight gain for no purpose. You might be feeling spacey. These are all signs that are not only medical things or that sometimes they're emotional signs and signs that you're not processing energy clearly as it's coming in. There may be even things like a slight depression, but you're not really sad for a reason. The other really cool thing, and not a cool thing if you have to replace light bulbs, but if you blow a lot of light bulbs out, that means that your energy is scattered and not grounded well. One of my clients said when he walked down the street, light bulbs would blow. And this is a person with high energy, and his energy field was quite static when I first started working with him. And now he's grounded. So when you're really static and you have a lot of high energy vibration around your body, we can mess up electronics. There's a period of time when I was teaching that anytime I went to the copy room to make a copy, the machine would not work. The next person, it would work perfectly well. Whenever I put a watch on, it wouldn't it would either like tell me the wrong time or it would stop. And I probably replaced 10 or 12 watches before I realized it wasn't the watch, it was me. So I can wear like these kind of things. I can wear my Apple Watch. I can't wear anything with a crystal mechanism in it because I mess it up. And I found out my father would do the same thing. Anytime he'd wear a watch, it would run faster. So it would always be like 15, 20 minutes ahead for no reason. And my father went through the same thing with his watches. Another weird thing is sometimes you'll get strange reactions, which could be positive, mostly with animals. I've had animals like fox come out of the woods, look at me, go back in the woods. I had a deer like walk right up to me and then walk back in the woods. I've had birds like circle me, so strange animal things will happen sometimes. And the animals are reading your energy, just like a dog can read energy of a person that's not safe. Do you ever notice, like, if a person is dangerous, a dog will react? They're looking at the energetic imprint around a person's body, and they are used to mind communication with their pack animals. So the way that they communicate isn't necessarily through, like, talking to each other, right? They're communicating through energy. So they can read energy. Animals survive by reading energy. What's safe, what's not safe. We actually have some of this rudimentary abilities in us, and it's called your intuition. So the more you are tapped into this intuitive field, the more you will understand how the universe works. And it gives you like an added bonus when you walk through life because you got this little edge where every once in a while your intuition will kick in and say, that's not safe, go this way, don't go that way. And I know it saved me from car accidents in the past. It saved me from very dangerous people in the past.
Because I really trust my intuition, it becomes a superpower rather than something to be afraid of or to block. And a lot of people want to block this natural ability because it sounds too crazy to them. But really, it's the rudimentary ability that you had when you were born here. It's the one that is like an instinct that helps us survive as a species. So your intuition is really an important thing to develop. You may also have a difference in the types of foods that you want to consume. I know I've been drawn really to drink more liquids and waters recently because as energy changes and as you're using your intuition more, the body will deplete some of these chemicals like vitamin C, which you need to be healthy. Vitamin D is a sunlight vitamin. So a lot of these kind of supplements are really helpful to our bodies, and we burn them off when you're using a lot of intuitive energy or if I'm working with a lot of people. I know the other day I was kind of tired after working with a client that was a little bit depleted. So I took a salt bath and I napped, which I'm normally not a napper. I'm pretty energetic during the day, but I was really knocked out. So I actually took a nap and it recharged me. So the other thing that I will tell you that in times of change, step back and give yourself permission to take a nap. Give yourself permission to eat a new food that you're being drawn toward. More fish, more, fresh vegetables, whatever it is that you feel is drawing to you. If it's a not helpful thing, of course that's not your intuition, that's your mood or something. Like if you're really craving sugar, that's a sign that your serotonin and your mood chemicals are low. And no, I'm not a doctor or an herbalist, but these are just things that I've understood through the years working with many, many clients. Okay. The more aligned you are, the more elevated and happy you'll be. If you find yourself a gloomy Gus hanging around with other gloomy Gusses, you need to raise your vibes. Okay. You will notice that I didn't do that. I'm seeing a thumbs up. Let's see if it does it again. Yay. Okay. When you find that you are in the right space of emotion and mood, you will be drawn to different kinds of people. Other people will enter your friendship circle. Positive people will enter your friendship circle when you're ready. If you find yourself with a bunch of complainers, you better look in the mirror, okay? Because if you're drawing them, there's a reason, right? They're learning from you, you're learning from them, but you don't want to both be in that negative space. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay, I wanted to tell you about a book that this is my going to be my 12th book. This one's going to be a YA. And the reason why I'm going through this, my girlfriend gave me a great idea this morning. She says, you have a lot of characters in your book. Maybe you could do something with it today. And I thought about it and I said, I have a great idea. So I want to just tell you, I'm going to walk you through my story, but through the mindset of this is how we walk through life. Okay? So I will start by telling you that the one I'm going to publish is called Child of Lights, and it's going to be for adults and young adults, and it has a fantasy element to it. And the story starts where the characters in the story, the woman is Lucretia and the man is Ram. She's at home giving birth to a child, and the problem in the story is that they live in a very dark village called Nim, and in this village, the people in there have this law that everyone has to sign that if you have an early born child, if you have someone in your family who's really ill or constantly sick, they are no use to the village. Therefore, every month, everyone's assessed for health, and the people and the children that are not healthy are sent to go into the forest. And they believe there is a creature in there that's going to make haste with these people that are given to the woods. And most of the people are children or old people. So in this story, I created it because many times we have a viewpoint that we are in a dark village, okay, based on our experiences. You can either live in the village of darkness or the village of light. And it could be two people living in the same place, but the perceptions of both people can be vastly different, giving one person the idea that the world is safe, while the other person develops the feelings that the world is not a safe place and that they need to shield themselves constantly from threat. So, in the same place, two people can have vastly different personality types. And based on your personality experiences, early traumas, and the way you were raised, you might be living in this village of light or the village of darkness, even though your neighbor can be living in a completely different mindset. And really, our mindset becomes our village. The mindset becomes who you are and how you walk through life. So, I want to tell you about the characters now because they have a lot to do with what I was trying to spin through the story. The the male character, Ram, is the husband, and he's very self-protective and he wants to protect his wife at all costs and his baby. So he is always like with his arms up, ready for a fight, ready to protect, ready to shield, ready to, see who's out to get him in the world. And I want you to think about people that you might know in your circle that have this mindset of always having the shield up, always self-protecting, afraid to meet a new person, to step out in the world because someone might be out to get them. That's a person living with fear and distress that has not been healed. I hope that's not you, okay? All right. The character of Lucretia is the wife, and she's very optimistic and loving and caring, and she's a very good support in the opposite personality to her husband's personality. And she goes through life, even though they lived in the same dark village, hers is always hopeful, optimistic, and ready to understand change, almost as what do I learn from this and what good message comes out of it, rather than something's going to kill me, something's out to get me. So these two characters are married and they love each other and they exist mindset in two different places. Okay. So as she gives this birth to this young, early born child, they have to make a decision. And the decision is, what do I do? And Ram's decision is we have to leave this dark village to find the village that's across the forest. And it's far away, but if we stay here, our baby's going to be culled to the woods because she's early born and they don't expect an early born child to have a good life. And by law, she would be culled. So Ram says to Lucretia, we have to leave. We have to leave now before the full moon because at the full moon, this is the ceremony where they're selected. So reluctantly, she says, you know what, I'll do anything to protect my baby. And they pack up everything and they have another decision to make. So there's two ways to go. There's a path that goes to the village and it's faster, but there's criminals. Or they can go through this dark forest, the same one that people are culled in. Okay, we're coming up on a sponsor break. I'm going to tell you the next little segment right after this break. Stay with me. Be right back. Thanks. Welcome back. This is Rosemary, and this is the Lightwalker's Path. And before the break, I was talking about mindset, perception, and how based on your own experiences and your own mindset, your landscape of your life can look very different. So in my book that I'm working on now, soon to be published, I hope in the next few months, is called Child of Lights. And one of the things is that the characters in it are diversely different characters. So I have Ram, who's protective, his wife, who's optimistic. They live in the same place. They have two different versions of what is their life. Okay. They give birth to an early born child. Then they have a decision. Should we take the Timuron path, which is one that is known for criminals and vagabonds who are, anytime they see someone coming down the path, they'll steal whatever those people have, or they chance going through the dark forest. Now, Ram decides that he wants to go through the dark forest, but he's really afraid to do so, but he thinks it's safer because he knows there's an actual threat on the path and he's not sure about the forest. And his wife at first says, why are you sure about the forest? And he's like, yeah, we better do that because no one will find us there. So when they go through the dark forest, when Lucretia gives birth, that's kind of like the dark night of her soul because they don't know what to do next. When they go through the forest for me, when I wrote this, represented the darkness that we go through in the unknown to get to something better on the other side. And those could be like your problems, your difficulties, what you will encounter that you don't expect. And during this journey through the forest, they have really unusual experiences. And Lucretia's open to them. She's like, oh, look, I see a fairy. And Ram's like, you're crazy. I don't see anything. So he's very here and now, prove it to me kind of personality. And she's open to everything. And how they experience the forest are two different ways. She thinks everything's beautiful and wonderful, and anything that come across has a beautiful message to it. And Ram sees it as, oh my gosh, something's going to kill me. I have my knife here. I'm going to protect us. So even though they're experiencing the same moment, their perception is what is making the difference. As the story goes, there are magical things that they come across in the woods, including a beast and a little man that they're not sure who to trust. The little man in the story, his name's Boulder Dash. He is the character that, for me, represents what you don't see. So Ram sees him as an untrustworthy character. He doesn't know about him. He's not sure about this little man, what he's doing there. He thinks he might be a criminal. He's very wary of him. Lucretia sees him really differently. She sees him as a guide or a kind person that is going to help them. Again, they're meeting the same person, but their perceptions are vastly different. As they go through the forest, eventually they will make it to the village on the other side of the woods. And again, Lucretia's like, oh, everybody's going to be so kind to us. And the husband is like, oh no, we have to be very careful because we don't know who to trust here. So again, the perceptions will match and give you like what you perceive as your truth and your belief. As you shift your belief, your life will shift around you, just as the characters in my story begin to transform through their experiences. I did the same kind of transformation thing when I wrote my Time Wheel series for 11 to 14-year-olds. And one of the things that I did in the story is I started with the main character, who's a 12-year-old boy in Time Wheel, and his character was very a little bit immature, and he didn't feel smart, and he didn't know if he was good at anything at school, and he just lost his dad, and he's kind of insecure, and his character transforms through the positivity of his friend Jake, and through his situations where he learns about himself, and the situations where he time travels with a magical prayer wheel. So another a way I like to reach people is not only through my sessions, my workshops, and the podcast, but through my writing. And one of the themes that I always love is the theme that no matter where you are in life, you can transform, you could change, you could move ahead. All right, I wanted to do a very short, kind of a short meditation. And while this is happening, I'm going to be asking for some messages. I'm willing to give you a quick message or guidance if you would like. Okay, so I'm going to leave that out to you. And what we're going to do is I just want you to, again, breathe in, breathe out. And what I want you to do is I want you to think of a situation in your life that seems to repeat and that has given you struggle. And as you do, I'm going to tap into the energy of everyone that's listening and people that will be listening later. Okay. One of the things that I'm getting from someone that's listening today is that their heart is very sad. And I want you to notice situations that may mirror something in you that's not healed from your childhood days. Is there a parent that let you down, or an early heartbreak with someone that you cared for? Those things impact how we feel, right? I want you to just put your hand on your heart if you're listening and if you're able. And I want you to imagine now a perfect day where you are sitting where you love. It could be in your home, in a forest, by the beach, anywhere that brings you great peace and joy. And I want you to imagine the feeling, the emotion of being in that peaceful moment, okay? And the longer you can hold this image of this peaceful and beautiful place, the more your own energy field will begin to send energy out that will prove to you that the world is a safe and beautiful place. So I want you to continue feeling that loving feeling, or text a question through Facebook or YouTube. I'd be happy to answer. Okay, and if you feel anything stuck in your heart center, just take a breath let it go, and replace it with another thought. So a negative thought can't exist with a positive one. So I want you to put in the thought of, what did I learn from the lesson? Why is this place resonating with joy for me? What is it about it that made me so happy? Okay, for me, my beautiful place is on the Delaware River, next to where the water flows. And that's where I love to sit and where I love to think. I hear the sound of the water. I see the beautiful green plants that are there. And to me, it's a vibrant and alive place. Okay, so when I'm troubled, I can go for a walk in the woods or imagine sitting by the Delaware River, hearing the water go down the rocks, and feeling at peace with myself and with everything that's happening. When you can find that moment for yourself, you could begin to shift your energy. If you need assistance with this, you can email me at info@rosemaryd.com. You can ask for a transformational talk session or view some of my other podcasts about shifting your vibration or raising yourself. And there's lots of good guidance there. But I'd be very happy to meet with you if you are listening and you would like a session booked within, the next week or two. Okay. All right. As you come back to where you are in the room, that special place that you imagined is your happy place. Okay. It is the place that brings you happiness and joy and can help to shift you. When you are in the alpha state, when your brain is in the alpha state, this is called your rest and relaxation state, and it's between 7 and 14 hertz. So you can even explore music on the internet that is beta wave music that is in the alpha range. And when you're listening to it, that puts you in a vibration that's very calming. One of my friends is a sound healer. She lives near me, and each month we do a sound and Reiki session in New Jersey at her office loft. And it's very calming. People will have amazing experiences, both listening to the sound of the bowls with Ruth and listening to or feeling my hands, as I channel energy to people. We have people that tell us they see things, they astral travel. They have an amazing experience of calm because sound is really a beautiful match with energy work. And that's usually why I also play wordless music during energy sessions with my clients, because that helps the brain go into this relaxed alpha state where they're using the right brain instead of the chattery, judgy left brain, and it does help you to shift. So again, try out an energy session, whether it be massage or sound or Reiki. Think about what you can do to help you shift out of fear, fight, flight into relaxation and alpha. When you're sleeping at night, that's called the theta. All right, the theta hertz from 4 to 7. In the dreaming state, our frontal lobe is usually sleeping, and the back of your brain, the part that is very visual and symbols and that kind of part, the right brain, is open. That's why you might have a very nonsensical dream and you're not even questioning why you're flying over something. It's just like it's a dream, but you don't know you're dreaming and it feels real. If you're lucky enough where the frontal lobe is awake also while you're dreaming and it connects with your dreaming state that you're in, it's called lucid dreaming. And lucid dreaming is amazing. Okay, let Miriam in, whoever she is.
Hello.
Hi, Miriam. How are you?
No, it's Deborah.
Oh, Deborah. Hi, Deborah. He wrote your last name. Hi, Deborah. How are you, honey?
Good. I wanted to
Good.
call
Thank
it.
you
I
for
heard
calling
you talking about
in. How
dreams.
cool. Thank you. Yeah,
I saw your email. I wanted to call and ask. That's so interesting. You were just talking about dreams. I was just going to ask you more about dreams and what different people mean in your dreams, because you
oh
had
yeah.
reviewed that with me once.
Yes. Okay, so when you're dreaming, this is what I learned from Michael Sheraton, who's the dream expert guy from Iceland Dream School. So what he told me
Yeah.
is that when you're dreaming of people in your dream, if they are simply friends, it represents a part of you that you like a part of your own personality, because everything in the dream represents you. So you can ask
Right.
that character, if you're lucid, what part of my personality do you represent? And if it is a person with a position like a teacher, a principal, a bus driver, someone that has like a position of power, a policeman, that person is a guide or an angel. And you can ask them any question you want, and they will tell you the answer. So I did try that
Okay.
out, and it worked because I saw someone in my dream, and I happened to be lucid, and I said, "Oh, can you explain this to me?" And I asked something about path and purpose, and I was given information that I needed to know. So that's what those
Wow.
people represent. The other thing, sometimes, like if you're prophetic or highly intuitive, sometimes you'll
Yeah.
dream, someone will tell you something, and I will check it with the person later, and it will be like something that actually happened. All right. So that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Get that kind of
That is
thing.
very cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I know, because I was going to ask you about dream, and I came on and you were talking about dreams, so
Oh, that's so
that was
cool. Yeah. So
very
what was your
yeah,
dream?
very cool.
Did you want to ask about
Why?
a dream you had, Deborah?
No, well, actually, I hope it was a little bit, it was a little bit crazy. No, it was just my father-in-law had the dream with my mother-in-law, which he hasn't had. So it was just, she came
Okay.
in, his dream, and just was saying, that she was like cured, and she was just giving
Okay.
him some like advice and stuff. So I was just wondering,
Yeah. That sounds
what, I don't know
good.
what it all meant and stuff. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
my dream actually.
No, I think when we dream of someone that's deceased and they give you a message like that, a couple things. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's a mind to mind message where they tell you. Because when my father passed, he told me the same thing. He said, "Look, I lost weight," and he showed me like his belt. And then he said, "Tell mom
Really?
I'm fine. Tell me I'm well. Tell mom nothing hurts." And one of the dreams, he showed up and his hip was hurting, and he started laughing in the dream. And I go, "What's the matter?" He goes, "Well," he goes, "the angels told me this hip doesn't really hurt. It's just that I'm really attached to my body, and my hip used to hurt before I passed." And, he started
Oh.
laughing. I'm like, "Okay, you're really fine. Everything's cool." And, I had a lot of dreams of dad when he passed. He had a very strong spirit. But I checked
Oh,
things with
wow.
mom, and, he kind of knew what was happening with my mom. And it was crazy. I had this happen too with relatives that would pass and then show up in a dream and tell me something to pass on to their, loved ones. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're most open when we
Yeah.
do sleep because we're not blocking them by our belief system. So, yeah,
Okay.
I think
All
it's your
right.
mom.
Thank you.
I think he's
Yeah.
sending it to mom. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
So,
thank you. It's amazing.
yeah,
I always love to hear your insights on dreams. This is
yeah.
very cool to come on the show. Thank you for I
Oh, that's
haven't done
pretty
it, so
cool. Yeah, and Deborah, I know you're one of my Reiki students, so I want you to
yes,
just, if
I
you would
am.
mind, can you just give some insight on the journey that you had with me, both for sessions and for Reiki? Any insights that you thought were like
Sure.
pretty cool?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been working with Rosemary, I don't know, for a couple of years now, maybe 3 years even.
Yeah.
Um, and Rosemary, honestly, you really helped me. Like I mean, I was on a journey that not that I was on the wrong. Nobody's on the wrong journey, but everyone, is on their path. But I was lost in my path, let's just say. And then I met Rosemary, and you helped me see and sort of have the confidence to do more of like the natural. I wanted to be more of a healer. I'm a dental hygienist, but I wasn't feeling that kind of work anymore, and I'm looking to start a yoga studies. And you mentioned something about that, and I hadn't even signed up for it yet. You said something like yoga or something, and I was like, wow, this lady is really intuitive. She kind of knows me. This is kind of creepy. So, yeah, so I just, then I signed up for the yoga, and I've been working on just studying yoga. And then I've been working with Rosemary. I've been working, we did a lot of private, one-on-one sessions. And she's just given me a lot of insight on, and advice on my life. And yeah, I mean, then I decided to train. I've trained with Rosemary up to level 2 Reiki.
Yeah.
And I think you really taught me how to trust in myself, because I think I had a lot of natural talents that I didn't know with Rosemary.
You
So
do.
Rosemary is like, you got this. You have it. It's just, it was like the confidence really that you gave me,
Yeah,
honestly.
that's
Right? I
beautiful.
mean,
Thank you.
no, I mean, you're just amazing. It's just
Oh,
been the best journey. I mean, I think I want to say it's almost 3 years really since I met you.
yeah,
And Rosemary, you've helped my daughter, my husband, some of my other kids I've asked you advice on. My
yeah.
mother, and well, I've asked about, you've met my mother-in-law who's passed, but you helped her, my father-in-law. I mean, just I feel like you're like you're part of our family, really.
Thank you.
It's a
Oh, you're
family.
awesome.
You're
Family
our
affair.
guru.
Oh, yeah, no, the guru is
No,
within, within you.
no,
So,
thank you.
yeah, thank
Honestly,
you so
Rosemary, I
much.
just want to say, Rosemary has changed you have changed my life. You really gave me such a confidence and
Thank you.
just to know. I think I knew I had some sort of, maybe it's like a talent, like beyond what I thought I had, but it was hard to find it on your own. Sometimes you need
Yeah,
somebody to help you sort of
yeah,
dig it out from under there, right?
yeah,
It's kind of underneath everything. So
right.
thank you for that. I really
You're
appreciate you.
welcome. Thank you so much, Deborah. Love you. Thank you so much,
No,
honey.
thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
That was so nice. Okay, so other things that you can do to navigate change is start to journal. So one of the things that you can do as you go through these navigation and changes is write down what your question is. So even if you don't know the answer, like my question might be, what's my next step, in my life within the next couple months? And then let it sit. So you want to let it like percolate for a little bit and then go into that space where you're really calm, okay, into your calm, grounded space. Think of that question again, and then just clear your mind and sit. And usually a flow of information or thoughts will come in. And you could write down your thoughts. Sometimes, you'll just like jot real fast, like, these are things I'm thinking about. And then later, you can go back and assess it. You don't have to do it while you're writing, because a lot of times people will have a great insight and they'll start to cross stuff out like, oh, that makes no sense. How am I going to do that? I don't have the money for that. And they'll go through this beautiful idea and they'll totally destroy it with all the what ifs and the worries and the fear thoughts. Instead, let those thoughts percolate and sit. And then the next step is to ask the universe and your guides and your angels for a person that can help either guide you, shift you, or give you the information you need to do the next step of your journey. And whatever that is, just be open to it, because sometimes it will come in as a coincidence, a book you needed, someone will call you out of the blue. Recently, I've been getting calls to do other podcasts and other situations where people want me on their shows and things like that. And it's because they may have heard some podcast I've already done, or they may have, read something that I wrote. And it's really neat because I always think that when you are on a journey, you're planting seeds, and these seeds will start to come up. This year, by the way, I just found this out, is going to be the year of the snake. And a snake is not a bad thing in this case. It is transformation and change. And it's shedding old ways, shedding old skin, and kind of moving ahead. So as Chinese New Year hits in February, I believe it is, there'll be a lot of changes and opportunities for growth and planting seeds, which will sprout soon after 2026. So as you make these changes for yourself now, they will begin to germinate and grow to be ready for the following year, which would be the year of where things actually manifest. Just keep your like, don't jump, just like keep your self grounded and keep yourself focused on what you want to achieve and what would make you happy and bring the most joy. Those kind of things will begin to percolate and manifest as your mindset draws to them. So again, live in the flow, align with what you want to bring in and what your purpose is. Okay. So we're coming up on the very end of my show. This is the Lightwalker's Path on Bold Brave TV. Please contact me at info@rosemaryd.com if you'd like to learn about workshops, sessions, books, virtual learning courses, or my books, which are on Amazon and also on Grow Your Spirit Books on my website, Hands of Light by Rosemary. So if you would like a session or you want to learn more about what I do, contact me. This is the Lightwalker's Path. I'm your host, Rosemary DeTrolio, Reiki Master Teacher, and this was the Lightwalker's Path. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.
I'm your host, Rosemary DeTrolio, and you've been watching and listening to the Lightwalker's Path. Learn about my workshops, sessions, courses, and more at info@rosemaryd.com. My website, rosemaryd.com, Hands of Light by Rosemary. Have a blessed and beautiful day.